Alright, YouTubers, April and I are off. You know, and it seems like we always have our Meineke gear on when we go just about anywhere. Last night we went to the diner. We had our Meineke gear on, having dinner with my son. And then all the girls flocked around us like we were movie stars. You know, and that's a normal occurrence for us, that all the waitresses and the management team come over and sit at the table.
I think we're easy to talk to, that's why.
And talk to us. And then they asked a couple weeks ago if we would get them hoodies. So Rachel and April ordered some hoodies for the girls there. But the reason I'm using the diner or restaurant in the heading of this video is, you ready? Do you feel, as the consumer, that it is okay for you to buy your parts to fix your car, whatever your parts are, right? Whatever the parts are that you want to put on your car, premeditate it before you choose the service provider that agrees to install them.
So buy your parts and then find a provider.
So buy a box full of parts or buy a part, right? And then you don't really know where to go to get that part installed because you're not a mechanic and you really don't want to mess with the job and you don't have any tools and it's just really nothing that you want to do. You just know you have a problem, and it may have been influenced from a visit to the dealership or your buddy. I always hear my buddy, right? Or my friend, you know.
Or AutoZone with the code readers. And then they go buy the parts.
And the reason I plug the diner, right? You don't take your box full of coffee that's unprepared, or your eggs, or your steak, or whatever meal you want to have prepared for you, to any restaurant and diner and walk through the door and say, I have this box of food, I just need you to cook it for me.
I just want to sit down and eat it.
So does that relationship fit or doesn't? Point is, you don't take your eggs to the diner and ask them to cook it. You don't take your steak to the diner or the restaurant and ask them to cook it. You don't bring any food to a restaurant or beverage and ask them to prepare it for you. I think they would pretty much laugh in your face and say you're in the wrong place.
I agree.
So the relationship I kind of, in our industry is, you bring your own parts to a shop that's in the parts and labor business, right? Parts, labor, service business. You're not going to be overly welcomed, this is just me, when I can get tires, I can get brakes, I can get door handles, I can get all this stuff. And we're in business to keep the lights on, pay the bills, pay the insurance, and ultimately make a profit at the end. And if the customer starts cutting you out, what are you going to have? And if you continue to entertain that behavior with all your customers, you probably won't be able to stay in business. Right? That's my point. So if you say it's okay for one, he's going to tell his buddy, he's going to tell his buddy, he's going to tell his buddy, and eventually you're going to have, hundreds of minions showing up at your door with oil filters, drain plugs, light bulbs, brake pads, rotors, struts, axles, whatever the case may be. So for me, I keep the lid on that very tightly in our store. If it is a product that I cannot get my hands on, and it is a specialty product, and the customer has it, I will make a business decision on, one, do I want to be bothered, right? Because I don't trust this product, I don't know this product, and is the customer going to have an even worse experience or problem than they already currently have standing in my store after I touch it. Some shops, so I hear, charge extra labor or absorbent amounts of labor to install those said parts. And if you watch Ford Boss Me transition from a master tech at a dealership to a private shop, you will see that although I enjoy his content, although he did not enjoy the experience of that environment of being a partner and owner in an area, and everyone say, "Oh, the customers and this and that are rough." Customers are rough everywhere. I don't care where you go, and not all of them. that they want to put used parts in, they want to put their own parts in, their crap parts in. He was having problems after problems trying to work that business system, right? And then he tried to come up with creative ways to get away from those customers, being that it's an everyday occurrence. And I would tell you in my experience, behavior, if you continue to, sorry with this glare, son of a bee. If you continue the behavior of that, right? No, I'm just going to use this as an instance. If the crackheads know that they can get free crack somewhere, one crackhead tells another crackhead tells another, and I'm not saying customers are crackheads, we're just saying they're going to all flock to the place where they can get the crack cheap and easy, right? Word of mouth will spread around. So your customers will talk, or, and if you tell every customer, yeah, I don't care that you buy your own parts, if you tell every customer that, you will slowly go out of business.
Or they'll start taking advantage. I'm thinking of one person in particular.
But my point to this is, my rule for this is, one, it's frowned upon, and I don't care what. Oh, sorry guys, this is just the way it's going to be here in the Sequoia, making a video with. Sorry, it's just frustrating sometimes to even get content to you guys. Mobile content. How about mobile content provider? So for me, it's a no, and I've had a few scenarios where it's just an effing nightmare, and I just said, I'm not doing it anymore. I don't care how slow I am, how dead I am. It usually turns into a horrible experience for me. Now, we're not talking bolt on custom rims and tires for a customer that you would hope that fit, right? You're taking wheels and tires off, and you're putting wheels and tires on in a package, something like that. Or a proven system, like a suspension system that you can't readily get, a proven suspension system. Not some of these, there's 2 in the country systems that aren't from a reputable brand or something like that. So I'll say for me, 99% of the time, it's an instant no, and I don't care. That's just me. I don't want the customers I'm trying to provide parts, labor, and service to cutting out a portion of my business system, which will financially impact me over a long period of time. So if you can't do it at a diner, well, I would say you can't do it at the auto repair shop. And I would tell you this, at the dealership, you're probably not going to get that either. They're not going to say, oh yeah, I ordered Detroit Axles, piece of crap, garbage suspension kit for $59 that has 100 pieces in it that don't fit, wrong fitment, and maybe will last 6 months to a year on your vehicle. We've been down that road, so we're not doing that either. So experience tells me if they're buying that crap, the end results are going to be crap. And other people will say, oh, I've had great experiences there. Well, I'm going to tell you, I've had horrible experience with Detroit Axles. Detroit Axle, certain product lines. And, it just seems like the customers who go to whatever website and says, oh, well, I can get, the brake pads for $7.99, which you can't do anymore. And you're charging me, $69 or $79, or whatever the case may be. Yep, we're going to guarantee that they fit. We're going to guarantee that they work. And if there's a problem, it's a simple phone call for us to ship to another product line and resolve the issues, right? Where when you have your own stuff and you're stuck on that, and your budget only allowed for you to shop online, you follow me?
Mm-hmm.
And then you make it to the shop, and your budget only covered the labor that they agreed to, and then nothing else. Now there's a problem. It becomes a huge problem for the person who's working on your car, right? So, if you're tapped out, and that was your only means of getting the job done, well, then you're challenging the service provider to say, well, this is how much it cost, and then when you get in there, X, Y, and Z fell apart in your hand. X, Y, and Z is in need of repair. And then there's no more money or no more parts. And now you're putting the service provider in a situation he definitely does not want to be in. So how do you do it? How do you avoid it? You just stay away from it. You tell the industry no, that we're not going to accept this behavior. And that's that. And if you go out of business because of that, then I guess that's the way it's going to be. But I truly think the majority of the public, just like when they call the roofer to come do their job, they're not saying install my 50-year shingle, use my nails, or use my plywood, or any of that. The roofer's going to tell you to go pound sand.
Yeah.
Right? I just want you to do the labor and then use my underlayment. They're going to say, yeah, good luck with that, sir. You might find somebody to do that, but I'm not going to do it.
It goes for everybody.
I think there's certain industries that, are prone to it, but I'm saying I do truly believe most people want a streamlined process, right? They want to come in, they want to say, here's what I'm looking for, or here's what I want. You're the guy, you're the professional. Look at it, tell me what I need, and I want you to do the job because, right, ultimately they came to you because they want you to do the job. You come up with the parts, the labor, the time, the solution. All I want to do is hand you my keys, listen to the phone call or message that it's finished, and swipe my credit card or pay you in a pile of cash and be on my way. And if there's a problem, I want to be able to call you back that you're not a gypsy shop, or you don't have, you're not open on a Saturday, or, something like that, or you only work 3 hours a day. I want to be able to reach out to you if there is a problem, that you can come immediately or as soon as possible back to rectify it or figure out what the problem is and give me answers, right? So that's part of the service part of it. And I truly believe most people are like that. You go to the dealership, you buy a brand new car. This is April and I. You buy a brand new car. You don't want to come out the next day to a dead battery. Or for our instance, in our brand new car that we have leased for our son, that there's a brake warning message on.
Right.
So this happens a lot, and we did call and reach out, but now it's an inconvenience for us to bring the vehicle back out of our busy schedules to have it addressed. But our goal was to go buy a car or consume a product and hope that there wasn't any issues. But in today's world, there's issues with everything. I mean, we had a brand new heating and air conditioning system installed. I had to have them come back 3 times. And it's not that these guys are dummies or their first year in business, right?
They couldn't figure it out.
They couldn't figure out what the problem was with the new product that they install all the time.
Right.
And they finally figured it out.
They put the refrigerant in one day, and then when they came back, they changed out something
There's
else.
a leak in the brand new system.
Yeah.
Am I going to have a leak next season? I bet your ass we are.
I doubt it.
But we're going to find out.
It's a pretty good company.
But the reason that I chose to not do it myself or not buy my own parts online is because I didn't want to deal with this exact situation. It's hard enough for service providers to get through the current job that they need to, right? Without any problems, and they're professionals. Or buy a brand new Toyota and your engines start to come apart as soon as you start driving it, like brand new. So, that's, not to get off topic, but we at my store don't encourage that. And some people say, oh, well, it's an opportunity. Yeah, I'm not looking to make those opportunities. And I'm sure that I could make those opportunities, but I'm not interested in it. And I'll just give you a scenario. We switched to a product line for tire monitors because the customers were saying, you're too expensive, you're too expensive, you're too expensive. Where we're too expensive, we were putting the best product we could in your car, right? And then you have the scab shops out there that are doing that with the cheaper product lines and dealing with the comebacks. So I was like, all right, well, how do we meet the consumer's needs? All right, so let us try the lower cost product lines and see if we can meet the customer's needs and demands with a lower price product. And we couldn't. It was a friggin' nightmare. I lost confidence in a product, and I lost tons of money doing jobs 2 and 3 times. Thinking, oh, well, just like the air conditioner guy. Oh, maybe I got a bad part. Maybe I got a bad product. Just the way the shit is. And then finally, we switched to the more expensive line, and we're still having problems, but the scale of problems is minuscule compared to the 75% failure rate. So one product line was a 75% failure rate, and this other product line, I would say, is probably more in the 2 to 3% failure rate.
Wow.
Which is pretty good, right?
Yeah.
And we do 20, and we're not a high volume tire shop. I think we're doing 40 tire monitors a month in our shop. More wholesale than retail.
Still not a bad number.
Compared to a product line that we never had. So for me, it's a good thing. Like, we added a product line that we didn't have. We have, so if the customer is supplying me their $10 tire monitor online, right? And then I do that job and it lasts one day, then I got to hear the customer saying my tire light's on, which I don't want to hear after I do the job, right? And then we bring it back in and check it for free at my expense, and paying the technician to tell them, yep, your product failed. Now what? Right? Now where do we go?
Do it again.
We do it again.
That's
right?
exactly where you go.
Doing it again is just not a positive experience. So we try to avoid to do it again. And I'll tell you, the air conditioning guy who did my heating and air conditioning had to come out 3 times. Whatever profit he had in those jobs, and heating and air conditioning guys aren't free and materials aren't free, I will tell you, between drive time, tolls, insurance, gas, technician showing up, diagnostic time, this dude lost at least $1,000 of profit in 3 visits. Well, how many hours did he stay in one day? 3 hours on one day, a couple hours on another day, a couple hours on another day,
I
right?
don't think they lost money though, because
Well, if they bill back the manufacturer, if they get paid, I'm just saying that up front there's a loss. Before you iron out
the company, there's a loss, but he made money. He gets paid hourly.
I'm just saying in general, the technician, the technician installer may not get paid for coming back out on a comeback. Everyone has different makeups for that stuff.
He said he gets paid.
So the technician got paid, but the owner's losing money.
Correct.
So it's not, certain product lines are, yes, we would say for sure, hey, I need a tonneau cover installed, or a bed cover, or aftermarket headlights or tail lights. Although I just did a video, the customer supplied me his aftermarket headlights. We put them in, and then the next day he's back complaining that his turn signals were flashing fast, and it was because the socket was bad. It worked the day I put it in and tested it, and then the next day he came back with a flashing turn signal. And then I had to cut that socket out of his new headlight assemblies and put the old socket in from his near 300,000 mile socket, and it works perfectly fine. And I did that out of courtesy, but I don't want to hear that I have a problem after you've installed the parts, right, and they were my parts. Now, since he's a good customer, I didn't charge him for the simple fix. But this is what happens when sometimes you carry your own parts. And if it was one of my parts, I just pick up the phone and send me another product line.
Yeah.
Or send me another part off the shelf, or whatever the case may be. And we just keep moving along, because there's profit in the parts and labor and service there, to bother a customer with what the problems were. We just keep moving right along and take care of it.
Right.
And then on the opposite spectrum is you carry in your parts, it doesn't fit, it doesn't work, it has the wrong plug, it doesn't have enough studs, it doesn't have enough threads, the socket has no pins in it. I can just go on and on and on. It's missing a hole. So there you go. So that's some of the reasons, and if not all the reasons, why we will not install customer supply parts. Thanks for watching.